Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone at charityhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. Now this reading is different to what I usually do. I want to do more kind of varied readings, different types of readings and things like that because I do actually like the idea of doing celebrity readings too. Now, I want to let you guys know if there's any celebrity you really like or you're really interested in, and you would like to do me to do a reading on them or something like that. You can suggest like a celebrity and things like that. I have to say though, I will only do ones that I kind of resonate with. I won't do ones that I like either completely don't like or like completely don't care for. So do bear that in mind. But I would like it would be really cool if you could suggest like some people that maybe you're fans of or interested in and stuff like that. Another thing is generally because this video is going to be directed at Kanye West. Now I just want to put out there, even though like this it will be a reading kind of related to the recent rant that he had, and people are questioning his mental health and things like that. The reading will be associated with that topic in his life, but I have to say, like, just to put it out there as a disclaimer, I don't generally do readings concerning health on professional like clients and stuff like that. I don't do that because I believe quite firmly, for ethical reasons, I just don't believe that readers should really delve into health matters for people. Only because I just personally feel that you need to see the right professional for the right issue that you're suffering with, and I feel like anything to do with health you have to see a medical professional for, or an alternative therapist, somebody that is qualified in that area of study, to where they can actually help you directly with whatever you're going through physically or whatever you're going through psychologically. And I entirely understand that in the case of like mental health, it is a very serious issue, and I just really believe, again, you have to see the right professional for those kind of issues. um yeah, so I would definitely never do a professional reading for those kind of reasons. But to me, this is more of like a fun kind of exercise. Not to say that it's not a serious topic, anyways, because I think we know where, again, whenever you're dealing with sort of, those kind of issues, they're very sensitive issues like mental health and health in general and all that kind of stuff. But this is more just to see kind of what the cards show. Just because I really love tarot, and I really think it's fascinating the way tarot works for different topics and subjects. And so I'm curious to kind of see what the cards show or what the cards say concerning this issue. I did watch the rant that he went on. To be honest, I don't know if it's the quality of the recording that I heard, but I didn't hear the part where he was talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce. So I can't really comment so much about anything he said about that because I didn't hear that. But I did hear like a lot of what he was talking about in terms of like Donald Trump being president and like politics in America and all that kind of stuff, and about becoming everyone becoming one and not being separated and all that kind of stuff. And so I have my own personal opinions about how I felt about the whole rant situation, but being a reader, I'm not going to put my own biases on the reading. I'm going to keep it very neutral and entirely put my faith in the cards and see what the cards come up with and what they have to say concerning Kanye West and his mental health, because they said after his rant that he cancelled his concert dates, and he apparently has been placed in some kind of mental health institution or something like that. That's what the rumors kind of are. That apparently he had like a breakdown, a nervous breakdown, something like that. And regardless of what his situation is, I do wish him like all the best. I don't know him personally, but I definitely can sympathize, especially like with these kind of issues. So I would definitely say that I do wish him all the best, regardless of what his situation is. And to be honest, I wouldn't say like I'm a huge Kanye West fan, but I really did like Kanye West in his early days. like the College Dropout album and those kind of early ones. Like I really enjoyed Kanye West music at that stage, but I didn't like as the time kind of progressed. I don't really enjoy so much of his like more up to date stuff, really, if I have to be honest. But I still really respect him as an artist, and I think he is very talented. And so let's just see what shows up for him, because I've been talking for like 5 minutes now. So let's see. Okay. So we're gonna ask, does he really have like a mental health issue, or was this whole rant connected with something else completely? So let's see. Okay. King of Cups, you got. King of Cups is verse 1. Ah, 10 of Wands. And I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot, as you guys can see, and the Four of Cups. Okay, well that's already telling me something. And there are certain cards in the tarot that are connected to mental health problems. So like I am kind of looking out for like certain indicator cards that would show that kind of thing. So that was the main question, whether it's like does he have a mental health issue in particular. And to be honest, those three cards are telling me no. In all honesty, the King of Cups is saying that he is a person that, I think, his rant was very genuine. It was literally how he felt. Like some people were saying, oh, Kanye West does a lot of stuff for publicity reasons, and of course he does. He's a celebrity. All celebrities want their name to be in the press. That's the biggest thing that generates money for them. But I kind of feel that even though it does, generate like attention, money, all that kind of stuff for him, I kind of felt like everything he was saying was actually from the heart, because it was the King of Cups. So this isn't a king that represents any kind of I would never associate this card with representing any kind of fraudulent situation, especially when it turns up in the like upright position. It's saying that he's very genuine about his emotions and about his feelings. The only thing with the King of Cups is that he can be overly emotional and sometimes maybe overly passionate about certain things that he cares about, like certain causes that he cares about. And so I think in Kanye West's case, he wants to be expressive. He has no issue expressing his feelings. But I think that's what also caused a problem for him, is that he doesn't always pick the appropriate times to do so. As you could tell with the whole Taylor Swift situation he was in and all this other stuff, he doesn't really pick always the best times to say what he needs to say. But at the same time, I think he's that kind of person that once he feels it, he really has to express it. And in my opinion, maybe because of kind of the way I am as an individual, I am a person that I am very expressive. You guys you may know that a bit about me, like see a hint of that in some of my videos when I go on my own rants and tangents about my issues with the world and why everything is unfair and unequal and all this other stuff. So when I was listening to his rant, I could definitely understand where he was coming from, especially when he was coming from, when he was saying about how divided we become. Like, obviously I don't live in America, but he was talking about he mentioned how, with all the political things that was happening, and the whole Trump and Hillary situation, and America being very divided in who they support and all this other stuff, and all of that stuff he said to me was actually extremely true. And it doesn't just ring true for America, it ring true for a number of different countries, a lot of countries, because there really is this us against them kind of mentality that they create a lot. Like there's a lot of division. There's division among nations. There's divisions within nations. There's so many divisions that separate people. And I believe that the reason why that truly is, and people can say this is a conspiracy theory or something, but I think the reason why there are so many divisions is because of the fact that if you have people that are very divided, they can't really come together to fight any cause. They can't come together to fight for their rights and things like that. So it becomes extremely difficult for people to actually band together. And I kind of get that what he was generally saying in the rant he went on was that there has to be a greater sense of unity among people and love among people and people coming together and all those kind of stuff. And isn't it so fascinating as well that he would get the King of Cups? Because I remember in a part of what he said, he talked about, this time that we're living in now is about feelings, it's about emotions. He said something along those lines. I remember he mentioned about it being about feelings and emotions, like how people feel. And I think that that's exactly what he represents. And I think that's exactly what he was trying to communicate. And even then, the King of Cups is really, associated with romance as well and love. And so I think even though his rant may have came off kind of angry, I think that what he was saying, he was actually saying it with the intention of coming from a space of love and of unity and of sharing a message that can actually bring people together or to get people thinking in that kind of way. So I don't think what he was saying like had any bad intentions, even though some people's feelings might have got hurt. Like I said, I don't know what he said about Beyonce and Jay-Z, so I can't comment on that. But from a lot of what I did hear, it sounded like more that his message was coming from that kind of place. And again, I pulled this card with these cards with no bias, and that's just what I'm kind of seeing in the cards coming through. Now, what this card is telling me is that a lot of what he's feeling and a lot of his aggravations is coming from being extremely stressed out, basically. And it's very understandable. He created this huge tour, costs so much money and takes a lot of planning, preparation, a lot of effort and hard work went into it. And it's a shame that in a way he had to end up being cancelled. But I feel like he is definitely overworked and he is definitely very tired. And I think that he's tried his best to maintain things as much as he can. He takes on far too much. I think that Kanye West is probably a bit of a perfectionist, or is a person that he really he would rather do it himself than sometimes give the reins over to somebody else. So I kind of do get the impression that maybe he can be a tiny bit controlling at times and a tiny bit kind of maybe over the top when it comes to certain details, like he really wants things kind of done his way. And I think that is also to do with connecting with the King of Cups. It's because he is very creative, because the Cups energy is a creative energy as well. He has a lot that he wants to show the world and show people. And I think that he takes his art very seriously. And because of that, he treats everything he creates almost like a child. Like he wants to care for it, he wants to nurture it, he wants to, and because of that, he may not always let or trust other people to come in and really manage things, on his behalf, as much as he would want involvement in things. So I kind of feel like he is burdened by a lot of stuff, and he does have a lot of stuff on him. And so I can definitely understand how this card can represent or leading to a nervous breakdown or some kind of breakdown, because it's a 10 card, and it's like 10 is when you're kind of at your wit's end. um Especially when it's the wands card. It's kind of like when you're using up all your energy and it's so scattered and it's so all over the place, and it's literally like you're doing too much, you're taking on too much, and something has to give in that situation. So when this card shows up, it always kind of reminds the querent that you need to kind of take a break, you kind of need to relax a bit, and you need to be able to share responsibilities with other people in order to get through this workload, because you're not going to do it yourself. And so I can definitely see that. I think it is probably true that he has suffered some kind of either breakdown or something, or he definitely needs to just take time out for himself because he's doing far too much. So maybe actually canceling those tour dates was actually a good thing for him and his health. This card is an interesting one because this can represent feeling very despondent, feeling like sometimes this card can even represent, is life even worth living to a certain extent. Not to say that I believe that Kanye West is attempting to, anything on his life or anything, but I'm just saying that I think that where he was coming from with what he was saying, came from a place of frustration with the things that he's seeing and observing around him in the world. And the difficult thing about that is sometimes you can come into this world and you can have the purpose or the intention to create a change through, your actions, through the things that you say. And I think Kanye West uses his platform to really not only voice concerns, but I think he also uses it to speak on behalf of people that probably can't speak for themselves. Like I remember, all those years ago when they had, the Hurricane Katrina and stuff like that, and he came out and said, Bush doesn't care about black people. But it was one of those things that a lot of people was probably thinking and probably saying, but they didn't have the platform to be on television and to say it at the time. And again, people were very shocked by what he had to say, but again, people couldn't say it wasn't the truth. I think that he has a disappointment in the way the world is in general. And I think the difficult thing about that is that, sometimes you get frustrated because you think, how come it can't be different? How comes we can't, evolve to a level as human beings where we can really see and observe the issues that are going on and really make a real impact on some of the things that we've been plagued with for so long in the world, when it comes to like the big causes. And so I kind of get the impression that he has certain aspects of how he feels, where he feels very unfulfilled, and certain things is very lackluster for him. I also feel to a certain extent that, especially connecting this card with his tour and everything that he's worked on, I think that, the Ten of Wands kind of represents the work he's put in, but I think that this card more represents the abandonment of the work that he's put in. And so I guess this, also connects with the cancellation of the tour and him kind of stepping away from again, all the preparation, all the work that he's put in. But then at the same time, it's because to a certain extent his heart may not have been in it any longer. Like maybe he worked on it, but he didn't feel like, you know he didn't feel the drive to continue. And I think that what he needs to find in his life right now is that sense of fulfillment, because something in him is very lacking. And I think that's why it's sort of showing up as venting and frustration and having these outbursts almost. And like they were talking about how him and Kim's relationship isn't going too well, especially after she had that incident in Paris and stuff like that. She felt that he wasn't really there for her and that he makes everything about himself and things like that. I think basically when this card shows up, he is kind of in his own world. That's another thing. And that's probably why she kind of feels maybe a little bit like he's not really paying her the attention that she needs. Because his mind is somewhere else. He has his own burdens and his own worries and his own issues going on in his mind. Because this card can represent moving away from other people, being a bit more by yourself, being a bit more introverted, thinking maybe way too much, or even being bored with certain situations in your life. So I think for him, he needs to work on those issues. I get the impression that, Kanye West, as we know, as a celebrity, he does have access to things that, probably ordinary people don't have access to. Like, if he really wanted to, he can up and go to, I don't know, beautiful island someplace, and money won't be a factor for him, to go on vacation and to take a break and to do all those things. But I think the luxurious lifestyle that he has still isn't providing everything that he needs on an emotional level. So I feel for him, it's like, it's not really that it's a monetary issue that has him in this state, but it's more that he's looking for some quality of life that goes beyond materialism. And so, and I also think that I think he has a greater purpose than actually just being a rapper, which he also talked about in his rant as well. I think he does have a greater purpose than just being a rapper. I think he has actually more of a purpose of being an activist versus actually being a rapper, even though he is a very talented rapper. But I think that he definitely has come into this life, I believe, in his case, to say again what people are afraid to say. or don't have the platform to say, and stuff like that. And I think that because he has that side of him that is that way, I think that he gets more fulfillment out of knowing that he's making a difference versus even just making music and stuff like that. And I think maybe that's the reason why he's not feeling 100% happy right now, because maybe to a certain extent he feels like he's not making the huge impact or the huge difference in the world that he would want to make, not just as an artist, but as a person that actually genuinely has something to say and has generally a general care and concern about certain issues that's going on in the world right now. So if he can find a way to kind of maybe channel more of that kind of activist energy and stuff like that, and making a difference and things like that, I think that it would improve his feelings on his own life and his own purpose and things like that as well. So that's what I kind of see in those three cards concerning Kanye West and his mental health issue. I feel like it's a situation that can get better for him in that case, because I just feel like I don't think that he's going through anything um that will keep him too stuck. The only thing I would say as well is that this card can represent feeling like depressed also. So he might be dealing with, some depression as well. But again, I think that the good thing is that with this card you can see the difference between the two cards. With this one, he was holding all the baggage, and this one, he's let it go. So he is getting the rest he needs. He is getting the break that he needs. And again, he needs to take this time out to really work on himself and focus on himself, and getting better, and getting kind of the support that he needs right now in his life, in order to come back, and feel more like himself, and really be able to create again and stuff like that. I kind of feel like he just needs to take a back seat a little bit from everything that is going on, and all the stardom and the glitz and the glamour. I think he needs to take a little bit of a backseat from that and really just focus on his well-being at this time. I think that's the most important thing for him. And it could be a difficult time for maybe Kim and stuff like that, because she might feel like still like, oh, he's not paying so much attention to us, he's not really investing so much in this relationship, it's all about him. But I think actually right now it needs to be a little bit about him, not in a narcissistic way, but just to sort of for him to get himself together in order to be able to really, merge their relationship together, and for them to really support each other in a better way. Because like I said, I think he just has too much on his mind right now. I don't know. Should we do some more cards for something for Kanye? I don't know. Maybe we'll just pull a card for maybe like Kanye and Kim's relationship, just out of curiosity, to see what shows up. What card will show up? Ugh, the moon. All right. Okay, let's pick another one as well. Ooh, Queen of Cups. Oh, so that's an interesting one. So I think that the Queen of Cups could be representing more Kim energy, seeing as we have the King of Cups for Kanye. So it shows that they are very compatible in ways, because they showed up as the same element. But then, obviously you could say the Queen of Cups is a very sort of, has that, again, the connection with emotions and things as well. So does the Moon. The Moon represents, being very represents emotions too. It's like a feminine energy and things like that. So she's showing up as obviously as very feminine. And so in that case, I would say, the Queen of Cups represents a very nurturing mother, the very nurturing wife, and things like that. So it's showing that she really wants to support her partner. Like, she really wants to support Kanye. She's really caring. She really, like how they said, when he was going through this issue, she rushed to his bedside. So that would definitely be like the Queen of Cups wanting to take care and make sure they're okay and all this other stuff. So she is very concerned about him at this time. The Moon is kind of representing, again, the Moon is a card that actually can show up in mental health issues as an indicator of a issue or something being a bit wrong. The only thing I would say is that the Moon, it can represent a more sort of not seeing things as it really is, and it represents more of the illusion. Sorry about that. the illusion side of things, not seeing things clearly. And there's a lot of water in these cards, and that's another issue with very watery elements that shows up. Sometimes it's and everything isn't quite all that it seems. And so it could be saying that there is some kind of um deception in the relationship. It could be saying that and I think it's so interesting how this interpretation has like two people that are stuck on a string. So it's almost like people that are being controlled, or people that are being manipulated in some kind of way. Or oh, I think I got it. That's what happens with me when I do readings. Like, I will say stuff and then something will come up and I will know that it's it. Basically, what I'm seeing with this card is a media illusion. That's what it is. Is that this moon card is actually representing illusions in the media. Like, basically the portrayal that the media have of Kim and Kanye is not actually how they actually are. And so I kind of feel that in their situation, maybe in the media, I don't really follow them generally, if I have to be honest. Like, so I don't know everything the media says about them, but I kind of get the impression that because of their work and because they're both very famous and everything like that, they do become puppets on the string in a media sense, because obviously their relationship is very branded in order to, push both of their careers. But underneath it all is a very different situation. I do kind of feel like they probably do have issues in terms of them both being, again, very emotional people. And to a certain extent, they can be there is a lot of care and love in their relationship. But I kind of feel that there is something in their relationship that isn't quite true and authentic in ways. And I kind of get the impression that maybe that could be because I don't want to sound bad about saying this, but it's like I just kind of feel that Kim and Kanye, to a certain extent, they have a little bit of a shallowness about them, to a certain extent, like both of them. And so I feel like even though they may have the love that kind of brings them together, um I feel like there's some home truths that they may not face uh about each other, because of the fact that I feel that they kind of um they will feel almost pushed to be together because of the fact that of the media, attention and everything else that the media expects from them, or how they feel that they have to be portrayed and all this kind of stuff. And so I think that, to be honest, I think a lot of this whole the stardom part of them and their relationship can definitely present issues for how genuine the relationship actually is. Again, not to say that they don't have feelings and things like that, because to a certain extent, when you look at these two together, they're very compatible. They are definitely alike. They don't have elements that are completely contrasting. They have elements that are the same. The only problem I would say with having two elements that are the same that shows up in a relationship situation is that, sometimes it can get too much. Like, sometimes you need somebody else to balance you out, to balance your energy out, and it's kind of showing that they don't really do that for each other. They may complement, so they may have things in common, but they don't balance each other out. Like, let's say for instance, if you had a king of cups with like a queen of pentacles, like those are two elements, the earth and the water, they work together but in a really nice complementary way. Like, almost like the earth element can ground the water element, and in ways that can be very helpful. But for them, it's just water and water. So this can make for kind of quite two people that are very sensitive, two people that may become very easily offended. So it can bring about arguments, because again, people's emotions are very likely to get hurt very easily. So all of that can bring about issues as well. But to a certain extent, they definitely understand their positioning in a relationship. Like, they being that one is a king and one is a queen, it means that they are equal. in terms of the way they treat each other and the way they view each other, because no one appears to be like a knight or a page um in this relationship situation. So yes, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm not gonna put any additional cards for their relationship, but that's as far as I will go. So peace and many blessings to you. I'm sorry about this phone ringing. I always like try to turn it off and stuff like that, the volume, but I forgot this time around. But I'll be seeing you guys. Bye. And again, do let me know if there's like any celebrities and stuff you want me to do readings for and things like that. And also they don't have to be alive. They kind of like have passed away, because I do like to do ones with people that have passed on too. And I'll be making more of these kind of videos as well, because I do like them. So I'll see you. Bye.